Hey everyone, I'm with UFC Light Heavyweight Volkan Oezdemir. What you been up to, man?
I'm just getting treated right now. I'm with the osteopath, so I'm getting fixed a little bit. I had a good week of training already. I've been training at a new gym, so I'm trying some new stuff also. And Wednesday night is my time off, so I'm making sure like I do everything I need to put to get my body in composition.
That's good. So how are you recovering since your last fight?
I mean, it was good. The only problem is I had a small problem at my knee. This is the only thing that's really taking a little bit of time.
Hmm.
But then, basically, it was more like going out of here. I went on vacation. I went to see my dad in Turkey. This was good. I stayed a week over there, a week and a half, and it just make me feel good. Like changing my mind, seeing my family a little bit, and it felt good. And this is also the break that I needed to come back to a training regimen. And now I'm back. I'm training full time again.
Oh, beautiful. That's great to hear, Volkan. Um, I just gotta ask, so whereabouts are you from in Switzerland?
I'm from Fribourg. It's a small city, next to Bern. It's the capital of Switzerland. And right now I'm living in Neuchâtel. It's also a small city, and it's like 40 minutes away from where I'm from. So I like small city. It's good. I can go anywhere really fast. And visit and do my stuff, everything I have to do, and go home. And just need to focus on my training, and that's the most important.
Oh, it's great. Now, obviously with Switzerland, there's different languages. So your native tongue would be like French, right?
Yes, my native tongue is French, and I've learned German at school. And basically, there is almost like a barrier in Switzerland, like per city, and then if you just go over this fake border, like everybody speaks German. So one side of the fake border is French, the other side is German. So it's a little bit weird. Some cities speak both, like everybody speaks both language, and some city, they only speak one.
Oh, très bien. I don't know much French, so yeah, you're out of luck. We'll have to do just English here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I guess before I really dig into kind of the current events, what I just want to start from the beginning here. What made you get into MMA in the first place? I know you formerly have done kickboxing, but what got you into MMA?
I actually went into MMA first before my kickboxing,
Oh, okay.
training wise, and then I started doing some kickboxing. But basically, I was training kickboxing because that was the only thing available for me. So my training was for kickboxing, but my very first fight was MMA. And then after a while, I went into kickboxing because it's something I was good at, and it was also like an opportunity for me to make money and get better in my craft. But the very first thing that's brought me to MMA was the Pride FC, in Japan.
Hmm.
Pride was really good. It was the biggest show at the time, and I was watching all those videos, with Vanderlei, Shogun, or Alistair Overeem, and it was really good. And that's actually what brought me into MMA.
Well, I did read that you did actually meet Alistair Overeem in Switzerland at the time, right?
I went to Netherlands, where he lives and trains,
That's right.
for like a training camp, and I met him over there, and he basically like brought me in and asked me, to do my first fight, my very first fight, and it's I can say it's because of him that I actually start my career, because he set me up with my first amateur fight, told me to come back, make a 6 weeks training camp, and then after the 6 weeks training camp, I was training with him every day, living at his place, and like living like the professional fighter lives. And yeah, after that, it was the beginning of Volkan.
Oh, right on, man. Um, Now, to kind of bring up to speed during your time getting into the UFC, what was your thoughts? What were your feelings when you got called up to the UFC to fight Jimmy Manuwa? And how did you feel after your knockout win over him?
I mean, the fight with Jimmy Manuwa was probably the fight that really brought me up. Manuwa was supposed to be a replacement for the title fight. In case of anything happened between Jones or DC. So he was basically next in line at the moment. He was number three in the world,
Hmm.
and he was only my third fight in the UFC, like in a 6 month span, and I was already fighting the number three in the world, and I just beat him really, really easy, really fast, with a big knockout. It brought me the performance of the night, and that was a little bit at the beginning of the new time. This was the moment where like everything exploded for me.
Hmm. Well, I'll never forget that fight. Just the way you just threw him down and just slammed against canvas. I never seen anybody bop their head off like that. That was great. um, but yeah, so I guess before I get any further, I meant to ask you before, where did you come up with the nickname No Time?
So it was brought up by my friends a long time ago because when I was fighting locally in Switzerland and everything, people were coming and paying their tickets, and sometimes they were traveling a little bit. And I was already finishing my fight in a minute or something. And they were like always saying, "Oh, I don't want to come to see your fight," like joking, because we have to pay, and then it's finished in a minute. It's not worth it, It became a joke, and it was like that all the time. And after Misha Sirkunov, he came back, with the no time stuff, and I officialized the nickname just before the Manuel's fight, and with the Manuel's victory, it was like no denial, with this. It was the perfect moment.
Right, right. Now jumping up to speed here, you have, and then basically your next fight was with Daniel Cormier, I believe. Um, Now, when you lost against DC, did your confidence go out the window by any means?
I mean, it's always different. We know when you lose because
Yeah.
this is a little bit the moment where you have to reassess everything. Go back to the drawing boards and see what's up. So obviously, I try to make some change in my fighting style. In my fighting. In my fighting style, and this is also something I had to do. I train more in the ground, I train more in the wrestling, and everything. And from now on, it's a little bit some stuff that I was focusing more on.
Right. Did you happen to catch his fight on the weekend?
Yeah, yeah, I was watching it. I fell asleep, third, fourth round because it's really late for me. I stay all
Yeah.
night long. It was like 6 in the morning at the
Yeah.
time of the fight. But then I rewatched it, obviously. But the fight was good, The fight was really good. I just fell asleep and then I heard like the Bruce Buffer like raising Stipe's hand, and I was like, oh fuck, because I was rooting for DC. But yeah, I rewatched the fight, and it's too bad, it sucks that Cormier has to go away from the sport on a losing note, and yeah, but this is what I get from it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, as much as he's retiring and he retired off a loss, I'm suspecting that he's probably going to continue commentating. So hopefully we'll get to see more of him for sure.
Yeah, obviously he has his spots, on the desk, and he's making a great job with it.
Absolutely. I think he's great for the sport. And I was talking to another fighter a while back, and he just kind of mentioned how it's good to see more the fighters coming in commentating. Even if you saw, like, I know Tony Ferguson had a little stint there behind the desk. But even just seeing some of these guys, like Even for yourself, I'm sure if they ever offer you, like if they ever offer you to do something like that, would you be open to that?
Yeah, obviously, it's a great spot, but for the moment, I have one focus, is getting the belt, and
Right.
this is my main focus right now. I don't want to do anything that's gonna, drive my attention away from it.
Hmm.
So obviously, once I will be achieving my goals, this is something I will be thinking about.
Okay. Now, going back to your recent fights, you had a couple wins after that, a couple wins after some of your losses, and then you just recently came off a loss to your last opponent. I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not gonna get it right. Um, so, what is like? Where do you go from here? Are you doing anything to change your training? How do you take that?
No, I think if you watch the full fight, it wasn't something that went wrong, during my
No.
training or doing anything, I clipped him 3 times. I
Hmm.
was really thinking that he's gonna go down, after my next punches.
Yeah, I did too.
I just didn't connect after I rocked him, and maybe I got a little bit too patient. And the thing is, after the second round, I think he reassessed really well. He readapted to the situation, and I
Hmm.
just came with the same attitude, because he was working, I was winning, I almost knocked him out 3 times, and then that's probably the problem, he came back to the round differently, and I came into the round the same, and he was able to take the best out of me, and he connect on the kick, and then it was the beginning of the end for me.
Okay. And I mean, sometimes that's just how it goes, right? You get clipped, sometimes you don't. Things happen, but that's kind of the fight game, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there is change I need to make also to be sure, like, it doesn't happen, or why did it happen. There's always stuff you can do, but it's not always the moments or to point the finger. You know what I mean? There is moments you can point the finger at something. Maybe you can, maybe your training, maybe your injuries, but this is not the moment. It's there is a lot of stuff that happen. Of course, but basically, it connects really well during that fight, and it wasn't my luck.
Right. It just wasn't your night, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I guess you've talked to me previously about you're just getting back into training, and you're just getting healed up here. So when are we expecting you to make a return? End of the year, next year?
I mean, as soon as possible. Now I need to make sure my knee is strong, and
Hmm.
in the meantime, I'm still training really, really good. I'm giving my best in the training and just protecting it, and that's it. It's just gonna. It's all about finding the right fights. The right date and the right opponent. So I will wait to see what's happening with the UFC, and see what's next. Now John Jones is relinquishing his title, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of new things happening in the division. Jan and Reyes are going to be fighting for the belts. It's the division is pretty exciting at the moment. So all of things are moving, and it's moving really fast.
Well, and to elaborate on what you're saying, yeah, like the division's really opening up now. I mean, now you have, no longer is Jones at the top. I guess there's talks of him. I do want to touch on this later, but there's talks of him moving up to heavyweight. So it'll be able to kind of open up with the guys to get more guys a chance to fight for the belt. Um, Now that being said, uh, what's your prediction with Reyes and Jan?
I want to see Jan bring Reyes to the floor. I think that's going to be a good point for him. Reyes is moving really well. I think he's going to have the footwork and the speed over Jan. So I think keeping it standing with Reyes will be a mistake for Jan. Um, I think Jan is more flat-footed, especially if you compare that to Reyes. And Reyes is like a counter boxer, and and he has a speed advantage as well. You know, if I think the ground game is going to be the key on that fight. If Jan is going to be able to bring the fight down, then the fight is going to be him.
Yeah, it's definitely a great matchup for sure. It's not. I can't really. I wouldn't be able to make a prediction myself because I like both guys. I like honestly. I could say right now I like all the fighters in the light heavyweight division right now. It's just it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember the last time I've seen almost every single division just stacked in the top 15. Like it's like just like it looks like anybody could win in the top 15.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Actually, it's really exciting right now. Huh?
yeah, and just bunch of killers right now. Um, but yeah, I can't even say who's gonna win that fight. Um, they both are good in both aspects and their strengths. Um, but I mean, besides them, obviously you heard about John Jones relinquishing the title. What are your thoughts on that? Why do you think that he decided to do that? It's
I mean, it's a business move, obviously, but also it's becoming really difficult for him at light heavyweight. I think he also kind of hiding a little bit. He doesn't have any opponent who has the star power that he has, and I think this is the problem because he had two really tough fights. In these two last fights
hmm
against people that are not like superstar, and losing against them, will be devastating for him. Going up in heavyweight will be, kind of his excuse. If he's lose against Stipe, against the champion, like the best heavyweight champion that has ever been. I mean, he has it's both. It's like a good move. Like for the sporting wise and also business wise.
yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and because it's my podcast channel and I'm speaking as a fan here. Um, I just think that John Jones is. I think the last couple matchups he actually lost the fight, and that's my fan perspective. I think he lost the Thiago Santos fight, and he lost the Reyes fight.
Yeah.
Um,
I need to rewatch Thiago Santos fight a little bit closer. I think Reyes did lost the fight, but a little bit now. What I can see is like the judge in MMA love when you finish strong. You know
mhm,
what I mean? And this is a little bit what happened there. I think it's worth more in the eyes of the judge when you finish the fight strong. And this is
mhm.
what happened with me and Reyes, and this is what happened with me and Rakic. So now you have a two clear example, and then you can see the result. You know what I mean? So I think that's a little bit the thing. It's also a lot of different fights. I think you need to finish strong, and that's how basically he got his win. Like the split decision win. But yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing. Everybody is a killer right now at the 205 division, and we can see the gap between John Jones and his opponents being really thin right now. And this is why he's trying to go away or taking some time off, letting other people fight, so he can see their weakness, and then work on their weakness because he's a really smart guy. He does smart moves, so that's a little bit the thing about him.
Right, and if he does move up to heavyweight and he gets the deal done with the UFC, do you think he should get an immediate title match, or should he work up his way like everybody else?
Yeah, he's a superstar. He's the biggest light heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, obviously, he should be fighting for the belt right away. But maybe there is other people deserving to fight for the belt right away. So maybe we can wait for Ngannou to be fighting for the belt. You know, if John Jones has to wait a year, maybe that's fine with him. So that's a little bit the thing. Like. It's more of a business decision for the UFC who's going to be fighting for the belt first. And Ganu deserves it definitely. And so John Jones. I don't think he has anything to prove. But we'll see. Now it's all about who's making what's going to be the UFC move.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that makes sense. And if it was up to me, I would give it to Ngannou, but I'm not the one I'm not the matchmaker here. So I just have to keep my mouth shut and keep my opinions as a fan here. But yeah, so obviously, you've had experience fighting a heavyweight. So like, is there any clear indication that maybe in the future you might move up to heavyweight? Is there as you get older, is that something that you might pursue? What's your
Yeah,
thoughts?
obviously. The thing is, the older you get, the bigger you get, and the heavier you get. So
Yes.
then it's gonna be definitely a natural step for me to be fighting a heavyweight.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm gonna also carry more power. That's gonna be good. I won't be focusing on my time on the diet as much. So there is a lot of different good points, positive points about it. And but for the moment, my goal is to get this light heavyweight belt, and
Hmm.
then I'm focusing on this, and this is really my goal.
Right. Um, and what do you feel you need to do at like heavyweight to get that title shot? Who would you like to fight next?
So obviously, I've been wanting to fight Reyes for a long time. Smith, get my revenge. It's two people that I was beating, really bad, and then I end up losing. Obviously, Smith caught me in a rear naked choke. That's different, but Reyes then he was also a bullshit decision. So that's two of the fights I always wanted to have, and those people don't want to fight me. So it's understandable, I get it, but that was the thing also with my last fights. He wasn't the perfect opponent for me to go up the ranks and go to a title contention. But at the end of the day, as long as you win, you're gonna get the belt. And
Hmm.
obviously it didn't happen that way. I got slowed down a little bit, and yeah, it just happened. But it's not over, and I'm not ready to be stopped.
Well, it's interesting. So I just had Johnny Walker on a couple days ago, and someone had commented on one of my videos that if Johnny Walker should be Ryan Spann, they're like, well, why don't he fight Volkan Oezdemir? I said, all right. So I thought I'd throw that name out there. What are your thoughts? Would you be open to a fight with Johnny Walker?
Yeah, obviously Johnny is a really good striker. He's a fun guy to watch, a fun guy to probably to be fighting with. And I think he has a lot of similitude with Yuri, my last opponent. They both have a really singular style and really explosive and weird, like some weird flex. So I
Yeah.
think definitely it's a good matchup, and it's something now also that I experience already is good. And like Yuri also, I don't think Johnny has a good ground game as well. So you know, here's the point.
So we're saying it's possible. You're saying there's a chance.
Obviously, obviously, this is a good matchup for me. So definitely, it's something that I want to be doing, in the future.
Okay. And I just have one more for you. So where do you see yourself at the end of 2020?
2020, I need two more victory. I want to be fighting three times this year.
Okay.
Hopefully, with the pandemic right now, it's a little bit difficult. Especially if the fight are all in the U.S. But yeah, I want to have two more victories. To be fighting. Different top 10 guys, and and come closer to the belt. And that's my goal as always.
Perfect. Well, Vulcan, I just want to thank you for taking your time to come on my podcast and talk a little bit about yourself and your career.
Yeah,
And I wish nothing but the best for you.
thank
And
you.
we hope to see you in your next fight, eh?
Yeah. Thank you, Luke.